What's up guys, it's your boy Jack the Electrician. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and thank you for coming and watching my videos. For those who have not subscribed, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so that when I put and upload my video, you can be the first to watch. So for today we are still at Villa Elgon View. As you can see, the lights are on. In my previous video I showed the lights. The lights are already on. So for today, our work for today is to install the sockets. You can see the points for sockets are still not done. Now is the time to do the work. Now is the time to do the work for the sockets. So today I'm going to show you the types of sockets that we are going to install here. As you can see, we have two ports for sockets. This one and this one. And if you are keen, you may notice that the first one is a bit bigger than the second one. For the first one, we are going to install sockets which are locally available. When I say locally, it means the sockets which we use here in Kenya or East Africa for that matter. And this one is a socket special from the United States of America. So that's why if you have been following my videos, I showed you. If you have been following my videos, I told you that in this house we have two types of power. The first power is for 240 volts and the second one is for 120 volts. For 240 volts, we are using these types of sockets outlets with these cables. You can see these cables are different from these ones. You can see the colors are different. Maybe I will explain a bit. This port that here in Kenya, mostly in East Africa, we normally use red cable as the face. If we are using a single face, this red cable is a face, and the black cable we normally use it as a neutral. And the green and yellow, it's the ground wire. So this port here, we will install a 240 socket, which I will show you, which I'll show you later. And this port here, we will install a circuit that will be accommodating devices that requires 120 volts to function. We have decided to put different like this so that it will be very easy for one to identify that this one is a 120 and this one is a 240, because the size will be different. So it will be very, very automatic for someone to just know that this one is 120 and this one is 240. I was telling you about the cables. As you can see here in East Africa, we normally use the red cable as the face and the black wire for the neutral and the green for the ground. But in most of the world, mostly in Europe, they normally use blue wire. Mostly in Europe, they normally use blue wire as blue wire like this one as neutral. But as here, we are used to black wire as neutral. You know, Kenya, we were colonized by the Britons, but at that time when the British were the rulers in Kenya, they were using black wire as neutral and red wire as the face. But as the time goes, the British came and changed the the color code for their neutral wire, then they are now using blue wire as their neutral. But us in East Africa or in Kenya, we still use black as neutral. So everywhere you go, when you are in Kenya, everywhere you go and you see the black wire, that wire is automatically the neutral. But you must be keen, mostly for the electricians who are in Kenya or in East Africa, you must be keen when you are installing installing the gadgets or the equipment which have been imported. It's better for you to notice or to study the color code of that load which you need to put on power. Mostly, for example, when you have imported, let me take an example of a machine like a coffee machine, which is imported maybe from Turkey. You know, Turkey, they normally use black wire as the face. They normally use a black wire as the face. When I say the face, is that a face is that wire that carries current. Is the live wire. The black wire is the live wire. So when you see the black wire, when you are installing the coffee machine, maybe that machine is for 3-phase, and you see the black wire, you may think that it's neutral, because here in Kenya we are used to seeing black as neutral. If you terminate that black wire into the neutral bar, and without knowing, you may end up blowing up the machine, and it may be very, very costly for you. And as you know, the coffee machine is so expensive to buy, so you may get into trouble. So it's better to confirm the color code from that machine before you install it to the power, before you know which cable carries current and which one is the neutral. So for us, I was telling that we are used that the black is for neutral. So let me just come and something else. For this one, I used black, the red wire for which will supply power for our 240 volts, and the blue. This one is blue wire, which will be supplying power for our 110 volts. This blue, in Kenya, we normally have, sorry for that noise guys, we have workers going on with the work. Sorry for that work. Sorry. So in Kenya, our face are 3. One is red, 2 is blue, the third one is yellow. So when you see the blue, most probably in Kenya, when you see the blue, most probably it may be a live wire, because that live wire, because our system here, live wires are 3, black, not black. Live wires are blue, yellow, and red. Sorry, we have workers doing their work here. Sorry for that noise. So as I was saying that you must be keen when you are installing the gadgets from different countries, because you may think that the color code is the same, but you may end up finding yourself into a big trouble. So here we have 2 types of sockets. These are the sockets which we are using. This one is the socket that is from the US. So this one is the sockets which are from the US. You can see they are a bit tiny. They are not the same as the ones which we are using here locally in Kenya. The second socket which we are using is this one. This one is the socket which we decided to go with. Yeah, it's the sockets which, our power normally we use power that mostly it was from our colonizers. Yeah, the UK. We normally use the UK system. That's why you may see our sockets are a bit bigger than the US sockets. You can see this one is a bit smaller than this one. So continue watching. When I have installed the socket, I will show you the final results. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. I go by the name just. So guys, this socket which we decided to go with is a very special socket because it's a universal. It's a universal type of socket. As you can see, any type of plug can get into that socket. If you have any plug that maybe is from the UK, US, this socket is designed to accommodate any type of the plug that you have. So you can see the holes. If that plug is maybe round or circular, it can get in. If it's that sharp, it can get in. Any type of plug can get into that socket, and also it is USB enabled. If you can see it has an adapter back here. You can see the adapter. I don't think if my camera is doing me justice. Yeah, that is it. That adapter, you can see it allows power that comes in AC 110 volts to 250 volts, and output is a DC 5 volts. You know, maybe the gadgets like phone, they require DC to charge, so mostly they use 5 volts for charging. And you can see the DC, the amperes for the DC is 2100. That's like 2 amps. This one is 2100 milliamps. That means it's 2 amps. So this type of socket, you can just, when you have installed it, you can just have an USB cable and you plug it into that porthole. Is it that space? If you plug your USB cable into that space, the phone will charge without the use of that header. Remember, that header normally converts that power from AC to DC. So this socket does that work for you. So there is no need for you to have that adapter, plug or adapter for the socket. Yeah, you don't need that adapter for the phone. What you need is only the cable, and you plug it here, the phone starts charging. Also, it's a very fast charger. Maybe you may have that header or adapter for charging your phone, and you may find that it's charging your phone so slow. But these ports are so fast. They are fast chargers. If you have a very nice cable, a very quality cable, a USB cable, you can charge your device very, very fast. So I'm really loving the type of this socket. I'm loving the socket because the manufacturer considered every I can say it's an international socket, because any type of plug can get in. Also, you can see any power is, as I told you, in Kenya we used to 40 volts, and in US they used to 110. You can see. Let the camera at least settle. You can see also it can accommodate 110 volts. So you can also install the 120 power system into the socket, and those plugs that are from maybe the US, because mostly the one that uses 110, they can get into the holes without any other problem. So continue watching as I show you how we will be installing this socket and this one from the United States. Yeah, and this one from the United States. So continue watching up to the end, and please like the video if you have not subscribed, please subscribe and watch the video till to the end. So guys, here we have started installing our socket. First we want to install our socket, which will be carrying 240 volts. And these one are the cables which I showed you earlier. This cable, this one is the face, and this black is the neutral. So we will have to strip it, and to strip the cable using the pliers, maybe come here, I show you. This cable, if you want to strip it, maybe you can, the simplest way to do it is just to at least bite a little, then you touch here, because this one may prevent you, maybe if this cable has power, so you don't need to touch these pliers at this point, because if you touch this point and this cable has power, you'll be electrocuted. So it's better to touch this point and you push. If you push, that chip goes away. That's how we do it here. You just do that and you push. Then after that, you will have to join them to be one. You see? You have to join them to be one. You join them to be one and continue. But these ones we have not switched them on, so they don't have power. So don't bother about me being electrocuted. Yeah. You make that type of joint. This one is the ground cable. Also you do the same as you did for the first ones. Into this port. So here we have the socket. This one is the socket that we want to place it into this point. You can see it's screwless. For you to get it how you can screw it, you just do this one this way, and you can see how it looks. Then here we have two ports, one for live and another one for neutral, and these two are for ground, which here we call the earth wire. The ground wire is placed in this point. For live wire, they have indicated L, meaning live, and for neutral, they have indicated N, meaning it's neutral. So our system here, I told you that we normally use black wire as neutral. So we place the neutral wire where there is N. You place the neutral wire where there is N, and you tighten the screw tightly. And please, I advise you to use screwdrivers or the best tester you have. Don't use machine to screw that screw with the screw that is on the socket, because it may end up tampering with the socket. So normally use the screwdriver. Also, this line we put it where there is an L sign. So we will tie there. Then what will be remaining with is the ground. The ground we will put where there is a ground sign. Then we tie. And since we want to loop this ground into that point, we have a looping pot. We have a looping pot here. Another ground. You can see this is neutral, this is live, and this is another pot. So we can loop this pot point here. So guys, here is our sockets. We have already installed the cable. So the remaining part is to fit the socket into the wall. So for fitting into the wall, you must have a box which is placed inside the wall. And make sure that when you are putting your box into the wall, the box must be level. Use a spirit level to determine the box when you are placing the box before plastering. Because if your box doesn't go straight or be level, when you will be, as you can see, we have these pots for the screws to go in. If the box is not level, that means the pots for the screw will not be level. So the socket will not be looking good. So it's better to consider putting the box on level before plastering. So for now, and this one is basic for just installing the socket. So now we are going to use the screws. We are going to use the screws which came together with the sockets to put the socket into the wall. So allow me to do this. This one. I told you this point is better to use a screwdriver than a machine, because a machine may end up tampering with your socket if you are using a machine. Because machine is too fast. You know, when you are using a screwdriver, it's very easy for you to control it using your hand. After you have installed there, make sure that the unit is level. If it's not level, the box has an allowance of you to adjust. You can see for you to know that the socket is level, you can see we have a spirit. When you are using a spirit level, we have water here. This space or this I don't know how I can call it. It must be between these two lines. When it's between these two lines, it means that socket is straight and it's level. So you just put it at that point, and then you use the cover, each cover, to place it there. You can see our socket is that one, is that done. Then the second part which I wanted to show you is the socket for 210. Not 210, 120 volts. Sorry guys. For 110 volts, you know, this one is normally used in US, and in US the black wire mostly in US is live wire or phase. But since here we are used to black as the neutral, we decided to just go with it as neutral. So in this case, in our part here, we are using a black wire for neutral and the blue wire for phase. Remember I told you that in Kenya here or in East Africa, the three phase we normally use we normally use red, yellow and blue for phase. So we decided to go with this blue for us not to confuse between the 110 volts and 240 volts. So we need to first we need to reduce the cables. So we are now installing the sockets which came from the US. They have indicated very well where to terminate the cables. I don't think that my camera can zoom it, but this point here is where you terminate your neutral cables. In this case, they have written the white wire because in US they normally use white wire as the neutral cable. And this point, they have indicated hot wire where they terminate the face wire. And this point here, we have where we terminate the ground wire. Also, we have this point here where there is strip gauge. This point is where you measure your gauge to strip the wire. So we will measure this point here, so that for us to strip the cable. Then we continue with the next. And this one. So after stripping, we make them to be one. So after that, as you can see, our little socket, the cables were getting into a hole so that you can tie with a screw. But this one is a bit different because the cables need to go around the screw so that the screw can hold the cable firmly. So for it to go that way, you need to make a U-turn on the cable, so that it can fit very well on that screw. You need to make a U-turn. It fit very well on that screw. So here is where now you start terminating the cables. The hot wire, which for our case here is the live wire, will go into this bar which are gold. You put the hot wire here, and you make sure that it is tight and it has fitted there very well. Then you use a screwdriver, not a machine. You use a screwdriver to screw that screw and hold that cable firmly. You see? Then you go to the neutral, which in our case is black. Go to the neutral, which in our case is black. You tie it firmly. Then the last cable, which we install, is the neutral. Not the neutral, the ground. Make sure it is well placed there, and use a screwdriver to screw it. Then after that, you can see it has a good allowance. You can see the hole has a very good allowance. It's almost 50 millimeters going in. I think it's more than 50 millimeters, almost 100 millimeters going in. So it has enough space for cables to be in there. So at that point is where you use your screws to tie them onto the wall. first of all, you tie the first one and leave the other one a little bit loose. So when you measure when you use the tape level, it will tell you where to tie it for it to be tight. You see, if it's this way, it means it's not level. So you need to play with it a bit, and it has an allowance. That hole has an allowance where you can tilt until it's on the level. Until it's on the level. Just a minute. As you can see, that point is on the level. Then you tie your screw that way. After that, you use your just a minute. After that, we have a cover. Here is the cover. You use this cover. You use this cover. That's a paper. Remove it. And also it has some screws. So you use this cover to place it here. Then you use your screwdriver. So it's that simple, guys. It's that just that simple. As you can see, now we have installed our 2 sockets, one for 240 and the other one for 120 volts. So guys, thank you for watching. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe into my channel. I go by the name Jack the Electrician. So please subscribe and take me to 1,000 subscribers so that I can bring you more content concerning electrical works and electrical installation. And if you have any electrical work, please, I have my number up there. If you go to my profile up there is my number. You can find me, you can check me out so that we can do business and do very clean and very professional work for you concerning electrical installation. So bye bye till we meet in the next video.